Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome back, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio today with Jay Dash. We are going to continue our Steelers player profiles. We're going to do the offensive linemen. We did the tight ends for you a little bit ago. We're going to start with Mike Adams here. If you're a Steeler fan, you know who this bum is. He's 6'7", 323 pounds. He's in his fourth season. He was a second-round pick out of Ohio State in 2012. He's only started 20 games in his career. He was somebody the Steelers had high hopes for. He'd gotten in some trouble, I believe, with marijuana right before the draft, and his stock dropped. So when they got him in the second round, they thought they were getting a first-round talent in the second round. He hasn't really panned out.
Here they were getting a seventh-round talent.
Seventh-round pick Kelvin Beachum has beat him out for the left tackle position and held on to it. At 6'7", 323, he should have a clear advantage over the smaller Beachum, and he just does not.
He's better than Jermaine Stevens.
He is better than Jermaine Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, he's a backup. Now, for a second-round pick, it's a bust. Yeah. But he's backup as a backup, he's not terrible.
He did play in one of the games, in the game where Ben threw for 522 yards and 6 touchdowns. Was that the Ravens or the Colts? I think that was the Ravens game.
One of those two. Back-to-back games he threw for 500 yards, didn't he?
No, back-to-back 6 touchdowns.
Oh, back-to-back 6 touchdowns, yes.
But Adams, he was part of that offensive line. They didn't allow a sack and 49 pass attempts, so that was pretty good. But that's pretty much the highlight of this dude's career.
Yeah, I mean, move on from him.
Yep, that's it. We're going to move on to Miles Dieffenbach. He's a guard. He's 6'3", 303 pounds. He's a rookie coming out of Penn State. He grew up in Glassport, PA. He played for Fox Chapel. He's an undrafted rookie. A knee injury slowed Dieffenbach's progress at Penn State. He missed the first 8 games of last season as a fifth-year senior. He came back from the torn ACL and sprained MCL to finish out the year. He only had a 5'3", 240. When you're coming back from an injury like that and you're a big guy, you're not going to run too fast. He's strong, but he gets his pads too high, so that knocks him off balance. He'll need to work on that. He's kind of a long shot to make this roster.
Well, maybe he'll be Jesse James Rooney.
They can be BFFs.
They're probably already BFFs.
Believe it.
For the past 4 years.
Hiding from the old people at Penn State. Another guard they have is Maurkice Dismukes. He's 6'3", 296 pounds, 22 years old, a rookie out of Auburn. He was another undrafted free agent. He's a guy with a 5'3", 140 and 23 bench reps. Started 50 games while in college. He's a good pass blocker. He's quick to get to the second level. He does lose one-on-one matchups against bigger players. He's more of a zone blocking lineman. He'll need to work on his footwork a little bit if he wants to excel in the zone blocking scheme because you have to move a lot. But he definitely has the athleticism for that style running. I know Todd Haley runs a really weird offense and Mike Munchak can coach up anybody. But this is a guy that I don't really think fits the Steelers' style. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to find a place in the NFL, but he would succeed more down in the type of offense that Houston runs, or maybe the type of running game that Denver's going to run now with Gary Kubiak. He's not necessarily a guy who's just going to stand up one-on-one, hold his block, and keep Ben Roethlisberger from getting destroyed.
He has a cool name, at least.
Dismukes.
Maurkice Dismukes.
That's it. He ate the Reese's.
Now you got to clean up the spukes.
This guy was a projected 5th-round pick, and he didn't get drafted at all. So the Steelers feel like they may have gotten some value out of him at an undrafted free agent spot. They don't really have a lot of depth at guard. He's going to be battling with a few other players. We all know who Foster and DeCastro are going to be our starters at left and right guard. But behind them, there's not a whole lot of set-in-stone players. So he'll battle. But as an undrafted free agent, I mean, it's tough. This is where most undrafted free agents can make it, though, along the offensive or defensive line.
I mean, at 296, I think he'd have to put on a little bit more weight.
To play in our style, yeah. That's what I mean. If he's in a zone scheme, he needs to pull and move around a lot more, so that would be perfect, just not for us. Right.
Here we got B.J. Finney.
Yeah, B.J. Finney's our next guy. He's marked down as a center, although he can play guard. He's 6'4", 318 pounds, more the type of guy the Steelers like at guard. He's a rookie out of Kansas State, another undrafted free agent. Only 20 bench reps at the combine, so that's not a lot. He was a former walk-on who became a 4-year starter. He started 52 consecutive games in college. He was a team captain. He's got the NFL-ready size and good core strength. He was a wrestler in college, so he understands leverage in the point of attack and what it means to not just try to beat somebody physically. He only allowed 2.5 sacks over his 4 years in school, but he loses ground in the pocket because he has short arms, so sometimes those big, tall D linemen can kind of push him around a little bit. It's not something he can't overcome, but at center, that's probably not going to help him because you need to be able to snap the ball. You need long arms to play center. You just have to be that lanky, not lanky, but, long kind of player. So I think he might project much better as a guard, and with the lack of depth for the Steelers at guard, I think he is the best of the undrafted free agents to actually make a spot on this roster.
The way you're talking about him, it seems like, now I don't know too much on the guy, and I'm going to have to see something before I have a decision on him, but it sounds good.
Some people had him projected in the 4th round, and we got him as an undrafted free agent. So if any of those people were right, we could have got a steal here. The next one we got is Chris Hubbard. He's another guard, 6'4", 286. He's 24 years old. He's in his 2nd year out of Auburn. He signed to the practice squad on September 2nd, 2013. He signed a future reserves contract with the Steelers on December 31st in 2013. He did see action on special teams in 2 games last year. He was inactive for weeks 1, 2, 5 through 7, 9 through 11, and 16 through 17. He was also inactive for the postseason game. He dressed but did not see action in weeks 4, 8, 13, and 14. That was a lot to try to say. But he's a better pass blocker than a run blocker. He has good agility. He moves well for a lineman. Another guy who would excel in a zone blocking scheme. He doesn't have the size for a guard that the Steelers generally like. He doesn't drive through defenders on run plays. He doesn't hold up with the point of attack very well. He's more of a guy who uses the defender's momentum to their disadvantage. So as they're coming at him at full speed, he's real good at planting his feet and trying to just knock you off track. He's not going to knock you over. He's not even going to knock you off balance. But what he's trying to do is just direct you out of the play. So he's more of a traffic guard out there, really, if you ask me, than an offensive lineman.
He got some playing time last preseason, and I expect him to get some playing time this preseason. But I mean, what do you want? I don't have much to say about this guy. Just a practice squad guy. Yeah.
The next guy is Colin Rory. He's a center guard. He's 6'2", 285 pounds, a rookie out of Indiana. Good pass blocker, good arm extension, uses his feet real well. Needs to gain some weight and put on some strength because it causes him to lose ground against bigger defenders. Another guy who's good in this zone running scheme. We're bringing in all these guys. This may say that we might be moving to more of a zone-style running scheme. The Steelers keep bringing in all these guys who are a little smaller and faster. Maybe Todd Haley wants to try to mold this offense to be a little different than what it has been in the past. You never know.
I hope not. He needs to stick with what works. I mean, don't be changing stuff now. He's still having problems with his original offense.
I agree. I don't like Haley here at all, and I think that he should just be delegated to Towel Boy or maybe Water Boy.
I agree.
But Rorig, he's a guy, he's just really there for depth. I don't know. He's not even going to make the team, I don't think. He's just somebody they want to see play in the preseason, and with an extra preseason game this year, the Steelers need all the able bodies they can get.
Oh, yeah, you can never have too many linemen. I'll give you that.
And he can play center and guard, so if he can make an impression on the team, if you can play swingman on the line, then that gives you a lot more versatility. What was his name? The guy who ended up starting the Super Bowl for the Steelers when Pouncey got hurt? Legursky.
Oh, Legursky.
Doug Legursky. He held on with the Steelers for a few years because of his versatility, so that's something Rorik could try to play upon. A tackle the Steelers have is Mitchell Van Dyke. Big guy, 6'7", 299. He's 24 years old. He was a 7th-round pick of the Rams in 2013. He's a tough player. He's not afraid to get dirty. He'll get in those pals. He'll push people around. He could move inside from tackle because he's not the fastest guy in the world, and he might work a little better in a combined space. Not necessarily a free range of playing tackle. He didn't make the team for the Rams, I don't think, in 2013, and then he didn't play in 2014. So he's an iffy guy. Probably the worst tackle on the squad, I would say.
Well, yeah, he's never had any playing time in the NFL as of yet. Now, 6'7", that seems like a guy has a problem staying low.
Definitely. I mean, And if you're not big and heavy, then you're really going to get pushed over by, you know what I mean? Those big.
Right.
Imagine James Harrison just running into this dude with his head down. He's just going to bowl right through him because you're just going to get knocked off balance.
Yeah, he didn't see any playing time in the NFL, just some preseason action, and that's probably what he's going to see this year. Maybe be on the practice squad. We'll see what happens.
And roll out. Steelers fans' favorite backup offensive lineman here is Alejandro Villanueva. He's a tackle. He's 6'9", only 277 pounds. He's in his second year out of Army. They signed him to the practice squad in 2014. He was an undrafted free agent of the Eagles. He's a versatile guy. Started 24 or 28 games. He played at wide receiver, and he started at left tackle in some games. So if you can play tackle and wide receiver, that's kind of crazy. That's huge athleticism out of a guy. He spent the last 4 years as an active member of the U.S. Army and served 3 tours in Afghanistan. So he's somebody that understands what it means to have an opportunity in front of him. And the Steelers liked him enough to sign him to the practice squad last year. They think he has some talent. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to make the team. And we've seen players make the practice squad 1 year, and then next year they really didn't progress at all, and then they were just kind of lost, by the wayside. But this is somebody the Steelers like. It's somebody Steeler fans love. They're all clamoring for this guy to get a chance because they like his size. But 6'9", 277, you have to put on weight. You are too top heavy.
Yeah, that's why he was playing receiver. And he's already 26 years old, so it's not like he has a ton of time to start producing. Would you say this guy was in what? The
Army.
The Army?
Yeah.
At 6'9", 277, I mean, this guy should go rogue and take down nations.
Freaking go to UFC.
Be like Rambo up in his...
Why not? I'd be scared of him.
A la Rambo Villanueva.
You can't even say his name. You don't say his name right, he'll pound you into the ground.
But 6'9", that seems like it's too big to be a lineman. I mean, you can love him all you want, but 6'9", I highly doubt you're going to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's not a lot of players that are over 6'7" in the NFL.
He should go try out for basketball, lose some weight.
Go play with LeBron in Cleveland.
Please believe.
Another guy for the Steelers is Cody Wallace. He's a swingman. He plays center and guard, 6'4", 300 pounds. He's 30 years old. He's in his 6th year out of Texas A&M. Signed a 3-year deal in 2014. He played in 15 games last year. He started 2 of them. He's just a backup, guys.
Cody Wallace?
Yeah. I mean, he can play guard and center, so that helps.
I mean, I like him as a backup.
Yeah, I got no qualms with him. He's nobody who's going to push anybody for their starting job, but he's somebody who's solid and you're not too afraid of when he comes in to start. So kudos to you, Cody Wallace. You get our seal of approval here at the spread.
Well, I mean, if David DeCastro is going to break Pouncey's leg, you're going to need Wallace.
You better believe it. The last backup we have to talk about is Kevin Wimpy. He's a tackle. He's 6'5", 296, 25 years old. He's a rookie out of Utah State. He had 39 bench reps at the Combine. That was the most bench reps out of any offensive lineman. Eric Flowers had 37. He was second. He was a 40-game starter for Utah. He's a strong guy who relies on strength over technique, a good run blocker. He has good football IQ. He doesn't have good burst, and he definitely needs to work on his pass blocking. He's only played left tackle in his whole entire career, high school and college. They don't really think that he would be good as a right tackle. Generally, if you succeed at left, you can play right. I mean, right is way easier than left for most quarterbacks because most quarterbacks are right-handed. But this guy really just doesn't seem to do well, and he can't really figure out the different angles. He can't figure out the different footwork he has to do because everything has to be mirrored backwards. So you're going to see him stick at left tackle. He's somebody who could compete for that second spot behind Kelvin Beachum and maybe Mike Adams. I mean, I don't think Adams will get cut, but there are some reports that if he doesn't show better, you're going to get rid of him. You're not going to cut a second-round pick this early if he still provides depth as a backup.
Yeah, for an unrestricted free agent, there was a lot of teams with interest in this guy, actually, though. So I could see this guy actually getting a real shot to make this team.
Yeah, I mean, you could keep Beachum, Wimpy, Adams, and Gilbert as your tackles, but then luckily Adams can play both sides. He can play left or right. So then you could let Wimpy be your backup left, or really just put Wimpy as kind of third and let Adams be the backup to both spots first. And then if he's already playing, you can throw Wimpy at left and Adams to the right.
I'm not saying Wimpy's old or anything, but 25-year-old rookie, that's a little bit older than you usually see, actually.
Yeah. Maybe he couldn't figure out how to get his books right.
he was going to be a doctor.
Well, let's jump into the starters since you're so interested in them. At left tackle, we got Kelvin Beachum. He's 6'3", 303 pounds. He played and started in all 16 games last year. He started 33 games since being a 7th-round pick for the Steelers in 2012. He actually started a game at tight end for Pittsburgh in 2013. He's somebody I gave no shot to make this team. Then he stole the starting position from Mike Adams, and then he held on to that starting position from Mike Adams.
How hard's that?
Yeah. But he's definitely our best left tackle on the team. There's a lot of talk about Beachum getting a second contract now with Pittsburgh. I personally think they're going to wait till after this year. I think they're a little weary of giving somebody who has played well. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but he's not been an all-pro either at that spot. So they've invested a lot of money in Gilbert. They're going to invest in DeCastro, and they've already invested in Pouncey. So they're going to be weary about where they're throwing money around on the offensive line, and I think they may let Beachum go and hope Adams can stick around and become a left tackle, although I don't really see that happening. I think Adams is a career backup.
I don't want to see that happen, actually. I know Beachum isn't the greatest player in the world, but the Steelers' offensive line was better than it has been in years last season, and Beachum was a part of that. I would sign him. I don't think he's going to command too much money.
No, I just think the Steelers are worried about his play breaking down. He's only 6'3", 303 pounds. That's not very good size out of your left tackle. That's not what the prototypical left tackle is in today's NFL.
Well, how long do you think you'd have to sign him for?
4 years.
Okay, well, I mean, he's 26 right now. I'd love to sign him for 4 years, then let go of him when he's 30 years old. Maybe he will break down, but I'm not going to say he's going to break down before he's even 30 years old.
I think the Steelers' plan may be to let him go, start Adams for a year, hope he can do it, and maybe draft a new tackle after that.
I hate that idea.
I don't like it either. I just feel like I get this weird feeling that's it. Well, let's go to the knee killer, David DeCastro. Bigger guy, 6'15", 316 pounds. He's in his 4th year already out of Stanford. Played and started in all 16 games last year. Played and started in 15 games in 2013. He had a knee injury in 2012. He was a first-round pick that year. He was part of the O-line last year. They gave up the least amount of sacks in Ben's career. He's expected to get a new contract either before this season starts or after the season ends, just like we were saying earlier. He's a solid player. He's definitely getting another contract. I like the pick when we took him. He's a smart guy, and as long as he doesn't get mad at Pouncey anymore and just start diving after his knee, I think right guard spot is locked up for Pittsburgh for at least another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I like the whole line, but DeCastro and Pouncey are really the only two that I say are beast mode going forward.
Believe it. When you run behind DeCastro, Le'Veon Bell loves it. He loves to go right. He's got so much confidence to run behind Pouncey and DeCastro on that right side. You can't move on from this guy. There's no reason to think the Steelers would. He'll be locked up long term.
And he has the nicest size out of all these linemen, too. 6'5", 316. He's a beast.
I don't know. Ramon Foster's pretty big in his own right. He's the next guy on our list. It's 6'6", 325 pounds.
Yeah, that is beast.
He's entering his 7th season out of Tennessee. He's played in 86 games. He started 71 of them since 2009. He originally signed in 2009 as an unrestricted free agent with Pittsburgh. So these guys that we talked about earlier, there is a shot. This team will give you a chance. Mike Munchak knows how to coach. He can teach you what you don't know. If you have the drive and the intelligence to do it, it can happen.
And if you're 6'6", 325, it helps.
Please believe. I mean, this guy is huge. He's been steady at left guard. You got him on Ben Roethlisberger's blind side. I know the guard isn't your blind side. It's really the tackle. But, you know, we've said it 2 or 3 times now. The O-line was so good last year. He was a part of this O-line. I like Foster. He's exactly the type of guard I like. Big, strong. He'll run you over. He doesn't wear down over the course of a game. You know D linemen got to be tired going against DeCastro, Foster, and Pouncey in the middle of that line after a whole game. You know, it just wears defenders down. And Haloti Ngata getting the boot out of Baltimore and moving to Detroit really helps the Steelers because he was the one guy that could break between those 3 guys and get to Ben Roethlisberger up the middle. I don't see that happening too much this season.
Between Foster and DeCastro at guard, and then you have one of the best centers in all football. I mean, that's hard to get through right there.
That's a beast front 3 men. I'm sure Ben Roethlisberger appreciates it.
Hopefully Beachum can keep it going this year too.
Another high pick for the Steelers is Marcus Gilbert. He was a second-round pick in 2011. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. He's entering his 5th year out of Florida. He's their starting right tackle. He started and played in 12 games last year. He was hurt a few times. He was inactive week 8 due to concussions, and then he was inactive weeks 13 to 15 due to an ankle injury. He has started 46 of 47 games since joining the team. He's only missed 17 games in his 5 years, and that does kind of sound a lot, but, I mean, you get one major injury and
he missed 11 in 2012,
yeah,
so that
exactly.
was a chunk of it right there.
You
Yeah.
get one major injury and you miss more than 10 games in a season, you look like you're injury prone.
Yeah, I mean, he missed 4 games last season, but in 2013 he played all 16, so he missed 4 games over the past 2 seasons.
He just signed a deal before last season, too, so he's definitely going to be around for a couple more years. He got a 5-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
And another big guy, too, 6'6", 330.
And he's the one out of the 2 second-round picks between him and Adams that I've been happier with. He's definitely a better player than Adams. Yeah. He does struggle against the speed rusher on the outside. That's his one knock if he has one. He's a mauler in the run game. But in the pass game, if he has to hold the point of attack for too long, he will break down before one of the other linemen.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely not one of the elite linemen in the league. Like I said, I think DeCastro and Pouncey fill that role for the Steelers, but he's definitely been good for them over a pretty long stretch of time now.
He's been good, and he's played in a lot of games, so that's somebody that I love. I'll take him any day as a right tackle. I mean, there are better right tackles, don't get me wrong, but we got him, I think, at 5 years, $30 million. That's only about six mil per year. That's a pretty good price for a guy of his talents.
And Big Ben loves his linemen, too.
That's it.
So keep signing them.
Please believe. Well, the last guy we got is the Steelers' perennial All-Pro and Maurkice Pouncey. He's 6'4", 304 pounds. He's entering his 6th year out of Florida. He was a first-round pick in 2010. He started all 62 games that he's played for the team since he was drafted. He did miss 18 games since joining the team. A lot of them were because DeCastro blew his knee out, and was it like week 3 or week 1 or something?
It was week 1, man. It was like play 7, actually.
It was ridiculous. He's the first center in NFL history to be selected to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 3 seasons. He has a twin brother, Mike Pouncey, who played at Florida with him. He plays for the Dolphins now. He's moved between guard and center his whole career, bounced back and forth a little bit.
Hernandez.
Pouncey has been strictly a center since he's come in. Everybody knew he was going to be the center day one, and he's come a long way and anchored this line.
Was he an All-Pro last season? Pro Bowler?
I believe so.
Well, if he was...
Not positive.
You're not positive? Well, if he was, Hittem made the Pro Bowl every year he was healthy, because the first season he didn't make the Pro Bowl was 2013 when DeCastro decided his fate quickly.
Maybe they had a spat in the locker room. He lost a game of dice in the corner or something.
After that, everybody hated DeCastro.
They
thought
did.
he was like a bum because of it.
You blew out Pouncey's knee, you jag off. But you got to love Pouncey. Anybody who knows anything about football knows that Pouncey's a great center. Is he the best center in the game? Debatable. Top 5?
Well, what's he
definitely.
rank in Steelers history?
It's
Not
oh, wow.
Yeah.
5, 4?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean...
They've always got good centers. That's one thing the Pittsburgh Steelers always have is a good center.
Believe it. And if he can live up to even the legacy of Dirt Dawson, I would be happy. He doesn't even have to be Mike Webster. Even Jeff Hardings was dominant when he was here, dude. And he was garbage everywhere else. He comes to Pittsburgh, and he was beast. I got a Pouncey jersey, so I don't care what anybody says. I like this dude. He may have wanted to free Aaron Hernandez, but he's a hell of a football player.
I don't think he wants to free him anymore.
Probably not. Once you murder more than one people, you can't be free.
Unless Pouncey was involved with it and he still wants him free. But if he didn't know that he did that and then found out he did, I'm sure he's done with that dude.
I hope so.
I think, everybody's done with that dude. Is he even going to live, or are they giving him the chair?
I don't know. He's still got to get a trial for 2 more murders. They just keep finding more dead bodies, man.
At some point, you got to get the chair, right? You can't just murder 100 people.
I mean, if they have the chair up in Boston or wherever the hell he went to jail. But that wraps up our O-line segment. Thank you for coming in, Dash. Thank you, fans, for listening. Fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_thespread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. And keep subscribing to that YouTube channel.